almost feel like Gordon Bombay would have taken his career to even further heights.
Everything's flashy, everything's cocaine, everything's
Fun.
Open wide for some soccer!
I don't care what your personal thoughts are at home. I care that you hate the
Call
Cowboys.
this college rule!
Welcome back, everybody, to the Sports Experience Podcast. Dom and Chris here, just a couple local Tucson comedians who enjoy telling jokes and watching sports. And if you have some time, please like and subscribe to our videos after watching them. And boost those numbers up in the algorithm. Help us out a little bit.
Yeah.
And we got a very special block of episodes right now. Chris, it's October, November. It's time for a little fall classic history here.
That's right.
So we're not necessarily counting down, but we're just discussing all of the greatest World Series ever. And who do we have today?
Yeah, we're going through just some of the best World Series that we have, and we're talking 1946. We're back with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And we're with those damn Red Sox.
Those damn Red Sox. This is an interesting one because this is the first World Series not affected by World War II.
Yes.
With the travel restrictions
That's
and the
exactly
limited schedule.
It's a very interesting one. Everybody's back from World War II. They got, Teddy Williams back. They got like all these guys who were serving who are now back playing baseball.
They probably just were like, this is so much nicer.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Oh, God. So we get to the Cardinals, managed by Eddie Dyer. This year they go 98 and 58. And they had an interesting season because they were teeter-tottering with the Dodgers almost the entire year.
Yep.
In fact, by the last day of the regular season in 1946, they were tied with Brooklyn. And they had to play a 3-game playoff, which St. Louis won both games.
Yep, they ended up just beating them first 2 games.
To earn the pennant, but they were a loaded team.
Yeah.
Just an absolutely loaded team. I mean, they had won World Series in 42 and 44 against the Yankees and then the Browns. They had an all St. Louis World Series. I thought that was crazy.
That's cool.
Stan Musial, one of the greatest players, I guess, in big league history. I mean, he's basically like Mr. Cardinal is now on the roster.
Yep.
Hit 365 NL MVP, 50 doubles, 20 triples, 103 RBIs.
That's wild.
Unbelievable. And they got Hall of Famers like Enos Slaughter, who we'll talk about later. Pitchers, Howie Pallette, Harry Brecheen. Basically just a really good team.
Yes, just top to bottom, solid team.
Like if when I looked at the standings, it was just like them, the Dodgers, everybody else in the National League that year. Boston, this is interesting. They have not made a World Series since 1918.
Yeah, since the Ruth era.
So this is their first post-Bambino World Series. And they got their guys back. Because a lot of them left.
I was just going to say, they have a lot of guys coming back from service. And just like the Cardinals, it's a very stacked team.
So Teddy Ballgame is back. Hits 342, leading the league in runs and walks, 38 dingers, 123 RBIs, AL MVP. And then you got future Hall of Famer Bobby Doerr playing second base. Dom DiMaggio is back from the war playing center field.
Dom DiMaggio.
Every time I see him, he's named like my name.
Yeah.
We're not working with a real deep benches of people here.
Of Doms?
Doms or Italians. So Rudy York at first base was another pretty good power hitter. They had over 100 RBIs. Pitching, you have Tex Houston, which I thought was a pretty cool name. 20 wins. Dave Ferris had won 25 games, and then Mickey Harris and Joe Dobson combined for another 30.
Yeah.
Managed by Joe. They went 104 and 50. I think that was all of those guys coming back from overseas like, all right, let's just put it together now.
Yes. Well, I bet it really was like, we didn't get to play baseball for 3 years or whatever,
Yeah.
But coming back, they were like, guys, like, let's play some baseball and let's win some games.
Get our shit together.
Yeah.
I did want to add, though, unlike St. Louis, where they basically had to like fend off the Dodgers, I had made a note that Boston had been in first place since a doubleheader against Philadelphia on April 28th.
So they were
Almost wire to wire.
yes, the dominant team.
Yeah, and it's their first World Series since 1980. That had to be like, oh man, I bet you a lot of those fans were just like, and you're watching Ruth with the Yankees,
Yes,
and the Yankees
exactly.
just kicking the shit out of everyone.
Exactly.
Thinking like, well, we got a good DiMaggio, but not the best one. So, what was it? Bobby Doerr and Ted Williams both played for the old Padres
Oh, really?
of the Pacific Coast
Yeah,
League. So
yeah.
Boston and New York were two of those teams that went to that well quite often. But we get into game one at Sportsman's Park because it rotates, as we talked about. In the other,
Even though Boston had a better record that year.
Yeah, it rotates.
The last year, which is such a funny thing for them to have for the World Series, where they're like, how would we decide what team should be home? We shouldn't. We should just have it rotate.
How about wins and losses?
We couldn't look at that. That's crazy.
Incentive? What's that?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So we get into game one at Sportsman's Park, October 6, 1946. Howie Pallette against Tex Houston. And as I stated before, there's no travel restrictions, so that's pretty dope. You don't have to pull that crap. In the top of the second, the Red Sox get on the board. York's hit by a pitch, and then Doerr walks, and then Pinky Higgins singles him in to make it 1-0. In the bottom of the fourth, Enos Slaughter hits a triple and ends up getting stranded. It was with 2 outs, which could have really brought him back. Bottom of the sixth, Red Schoendienst, who was their second. He later became the manager on those 60s World Series winning teams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, he was with that organization like his entire life.
Yeah.
And then Terry Moore grounds out. Sam Musial doubles him in to make it 1-1. And later in that, we get to the bottom of the eighth.
I was going to say bottom of the eighth.
With Boston.
Yep.
So they get a 1-out single, and then there ends up getting a double. Garagiola in the bottom of the eighth makes it 2-1. He ends up getting a double. Their catcher Joe Garagiola and gets out trying to stretch it into a triple. So they're up 2-1 in the bottom of the eighth, and you're thinking
This could, yeah.
they're going to pull away, and thinking like, man, Brooklyn must have been pretty fucking good.
Yeah. No, seriously though.
So we get into the bottom of the top of the ninth. Top of the ninth. Pinky Higgins has a 1-out single, and then we have pinch hitter coming up, and Rip Russell singles. Rip Russell gets a single, and then Tom McBride gets a single to tie the game.
So now it's 2-2. Top of the ninth. Well, technically,
Well, it's top of the 10th.
top of the 10th.
So
I was going to say, so
St. Louis doesn't score in the bottom of the frame.
exactly. So now we're at top of the 10th, and then we get a pretty epic ending here.
Yeah, so Boston, there's 2 outs. First 2 guys get out.
Yep.
And Rudy York comes to the plate for him and comes through.
Yeah, just tattoos one for a home run, and then Cardinals can't score in the bottom of the 10th. Boston takes the first game 3-2, and you're thinking like, oh, are they going to end this curse?
Well, I don't think anyone was talking curse at this point.
That's true. That's true.
Well,
Because it was only 30 years or whatever.
20. Yeah, it was 28 years, and I think you're mad, but I don't think you think.
But you're not thinking curse.
Game 7, you start thinking these
there you go.
things.
There you go.
That's a spoiler alert, but Game 2, October 7th, 1946. This dude had a hell of a series, Harry Brecheen for St. Louis.
Yeah.
Facing Mickey Harris. In the bottom of the third, you get a double, and Brecheen drives him in. Mm-hmm. So that's 1-0.
So 1-0.
Cardinals.
Yep.
Del Rice has a single in the bottom of the fifth. Brecheen hits a ground ball, but a bad Higgins throw puts guys on second and third with no outs. Schoendienst grounds out to Doerr, and Terry Moore ends up hitting a single to make it 2-0. And then Musial has an RBI ground out to make it 3-0. And it's a pitcher's duel the entire. Like it's really just Boston not figuring out Harry Brecheen.
Yep.
And
because St. Louis, they're not having like ridiculously great offensive nights, but like Boston really could not do anything in game 2.
No, in this series, what I noticed is St. Louis isn't hitting like they did in the regular season, but the timely hits come.
Yes.
At like the most important time. But kudos to Brecheen. He only allowed 4 hits in a complete game. So, I mean, complete game shutout. So the series moves to Boston for Game 3, Fenway Park, October 9th, 1946. It's Murray Dixon against Dave Ferris. Top of the first, Musial walks, steals second base. Ends up getting picked off, though.
Yep. Which it's a little rough because you look at like if the Cardinals had scored in that first inning, stuff kind of probably would have went different. But we get York just stepping up for Boston. I can't even imagine how big of a star he would have been if like this series went the other way.
Considering the shortcomings of their best player, there'd be statues to him and another guy we'll talk about for their efforts in this World Series.
Exactly.
So DiMaggio ends up moving. They get a 1-out single. DiMaggio moves him to second base on a ground out. They intentionally walk Williams and that's also part of the reason why his World Series wasn't particularly great.
Because he had a lot of intentional walks, and then when they pitched to him, he just didn't really have a lot of hits.
But you put 2 guys on for Rudy York, and like we talked with Morgan, they're just trying to get a fastball to get him out, and he goes yard. He hits a 3-run dinger in the bottom of the first, which is really all they needed in this entire game.
Yeah, so, and I wanted to say this because the first game, you're thinking like, oh, these are going to be close. The next 2 games, it's 3-0, 3-0, and the starting pitchers really stepped up and kind of shut down the other team.
Oh, absolutely. Boston tacks on another one. York scores after a door double, and then Shane Dienst error. So it's 4-0, and to Ferris's credit, complete game shutout, 6 hits, 1 walk, two strikeouts.
2 strikeouts.
I love that.
That's what I mean.
It's more democratic that way, Chris.
You got to you put the ball on the ground, and you know what? We're just going to like throw them out at first.
I bought 100 of these. One for every base my ass.
Yeah, that's great, but it's going to be hard to steal second with your shoe untied.
I love how all the press box are jacking it. Looks over at him.
I love that. That's one of my favorite.
Oh, rest in peace, Bob Uecker.
Oh, he was the king.
All right.
Game 4, though, you see what St. Louis did in the regular season because they just raked.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what everybody kind of thought St. Louis was kind of going to do, and it turned into the first 3 games being pitchers' duels. Game 4, they have, and I think this is the only time that happened in a World Series, they had 3 players have 4 hits each.
It was hit parade.
It was
that
hit parade.
Day for the Cards. Top of the second, Slaughter leads off with a home run, 1-0. Whitey Krakowski doubles. Garagiola flies out, but Harry Walker drives in Karowski with a single to make it 2-0. And then Walker steals second base and got to third on the bad throw. And then Marty Marion has a bunt single RBI.
Yep.
They just jumped on him in this Game 4. So I was watching the World Series highlights and games and stuff on YouTube, and my first thought was, there's a lot of white people. And then I'm like, no, Jackie Robinson, 1940s, of course.
Yes.
This is the last series of their time, Chris.
That's true. This is the last all-white series, if you know what I mean.
God.
And you're right. It's a lot of just move the guy 1 base kind of baseball.
It's a lot of Dom DiMaggio is the most ethnic name on the team.
Exactly.
So, top of the third, Shane Dienst singles. Terry Moore bunts, but there's Boston made a ton of shit errors at the worst possible time in this entire series.
I was just going to say, they had a lot of just like mental farts where it's just really like bad errors in horribly bad situations. And you see it in this game where St. Louis just tacks on runs.
There are runners at second and third for Stan Musial, and instead of walking him, which they should have done, they pitch to him, and he scores both with a double. I mean, but the guy had, 3,700 career hits?
Yeah.
Garagiola comes up 2 batters later and singles him in, and it's 6-0. York drives in a run in the bottom of the 4th to make it 6-1. But in the top of the 5th, Slaughter has a 1-out double, and then Karowski doubles again to make it 7-1. And then in the top of the 7th, because it was Slaughter and Karowski were 2 of the 3 guys.
Yep.
Both of them get back-to-back singles in the top of the 7th with 1 out, and then Garagiola has a double to make it 8-1. And then in the bottom of the 8th, the Red Sox get 2
Yep,
on a door dinger.
Yeah, so it's like 8-3.
Yeah.
But nobody's thinking the Red Sox are coming back at this point. They're just kind of like, oh, okay, that was a couple of runs.
And the Cardinals score 3 more to make it 11-3 in the top of the 9th.
Yep.
And if you're Boston, you're just like, we just have to put that one behind us because it was bad. But to his credit, Rod Munger, who started for St. Louis, pitched a complete game.
Yep.
Which you need. You need
it in the middle of these series where you don't have to go to your bullpen, and the guy will be available later on if you need him.
And he's not your ace either.
No.
If you can get that out of that just makes the team even more comfortable.
Yep.
So we get to Game 5 at Fenway. Series is knotted up at 2. October 11th, 1946, and it's Howie Pallette against Joe Dobson. In the bottom of the 1st, Teddy Ballgame gets his only run batted into the entire series.
I was just going to say, this is the only game where Ted Williams has a pretty decent game, and you look at it for the series, and you would go back and think, you'd be like, well, I mean, Ted Williams probably had a really good series. They just ended up losing. It's like, no, he was not good this entire series.
No, it was terrible. And it was his only World Series.
Yes.
Like,
one and onlyest. So, yeah, he must feel pretty bad about this.
That frozen head of his is just spinning.
Spinning.
Top of the 2nd, the Cardinals tie it on a Harry Walker RBI double to make it 1-1. Boston in the bottom of the 2nd, though, follows with a Don Gutteridge RBI and an RBI single by Al Brazil.
So they're up 3-1.
They're up 3-1 after a Leon Culberson home run.
Yep.
To make in the bottom of the 6th. He'll come back into play, I feel like, at some point. And then in the bottom of the 7th, they have their big inning where they have a double, a strikeout, an intentional walk, and then Pinky Higgins has an RBI double to make it 4-1. They put a guy on base with an intentional walk, and then Marty Marion on a bad throw by catcher Roy Partee gets him 2 more runs.
So now it's 6-1.
It's 6-1.
And you this is the thing about baseball in this era is it's hard for teams to like rack up a lot of runs. Even St. Louis, who is probably the best at it in this year, when it goes to 6-1, you're just kind of like, all right, I think Boston has this game. But St. Louis tacks on a couple.
They do. They cut it to 6-3, but they end up losing the game. And
Boston's up 3-2.
But they're going back to St. Louis.
But they're going back to old St. Louis. And we know what happens. And I find this series to be very interesting because it is kind of that thing where you think, oh, Boston should have this win one of the 2 games.
They're up 3-2 with arguably the greatest hitter in the history of Major League Baseball is batting at the Mendoza line.
Yes, exactly.
You got to be living right for that. Like you're thinking, well, he's got 2 more games left. Maybe he's going to do it.
Yeah.
But, we get to Game 6 at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis, October 13th, 1946, and it's Brecheen against Mickey Harris for Boston. In the bottom of the 3rd, it was, oh boy, St. Louis puts up 3 runs.
I was just going to say St. Louis in the bottom of the 4th puts on that lead that you can kind of see, especially with Ted Williams not hitting, Boston's going to struggle to come back from.
Yeah, so they get big plays in that inning were back-to-back singles by Karowski and Slaughter.
Yep.
But Boston gets one in the top of the 7th off of a Rudy York leadoff triple and a door sack fly. So they're still in it.
It's 3-1.
It's 3-1. And then in the bottom of the 8th, Marty Marion has an RBI double for St. Louis to put them up 4-1.
Yep.
And
kind of closes the game at that point because Boston is just not hitting.
I mean, if they don't have these 2 starts by Brecheen, I don't even think there is a Game 7. There might not even be a Game 6.
I agree.
But we go to a Game 7. Here's the thing about Red Sox World Series. When they win, they're boring as fuck.
But when they lose, it is so exciting. And this was the thing when we were researching this. I was like, the games are okay. Game 7 is so good. And when you have a great Game 7 in the World Series, you're like, okay, that...
It kind of makes up for the snoozers or like the ass blasts.
Yes, exactly. For like the 12-3 or whatever. It was like having this Game 7, you're like, okay, that was awesome.
So you get to Game 7 at Sportsman's Park, October 15th, 1946, and it's Murray Dixon versus Dave Ferris. In the top of the first,
Boston comes out.
Yes, they do.
This is what they needed in game. If you look at all the games they lose, they just go behind and can't come back.
Yeah, St. Louis will pour it on early.
Yes, exactly. Going ahead 1-0 in the first, you're like, okay, this could happen.
So they get back-to-back singles from Wally Moses and Johnny Pesky, and DiMaggio has an RBI sac fly.
Yep.
The bottom of the second, for the Cardinals, Karowski doubles, moves to third base on a Garagiola ground out, and Harry Walker has a sac fly to tie it up. The bottom of the fifth, and then the Cardinals start turning it on here.
Yep. Bottom of the fifth, we start to see the Cardinals, and why they were such a great team. They anybody in the lineup could hit. That's what I feel like.
Like you have your power guys like a Musial and a Slaughter, but you have just guys that get on base and know what the hell that they're doing.
Exactly.
I think I had read like 3 of their 5 players were top 5 in MVP.
That's
in
wild.
the NL that year.
Yeah, that's
I mean, granted,
wild.
you have fewer teams, but it's like,
but still,
you're the best team in as far as your league's concerned. So Walker singles, Marion sacrifices him over. And then Dixon hits a double to get Walker to score, and it's 2-1. And Shane Deans follows with a single.
With a single to make it 3-1. And if you're looking at the series, you're like, well, Boston's down 3-1. This is going to probably be it. But we get to the 8th inning.
Yeah, and they had taken Ferris out for Dobson.
For Dobson.
But in the top of the 8th, Dixon runs into some trouble. Rip Russell has a pinch hit single. That is followed by a pinch hit double, and Brecheen has to come in. And he ends up getting Wally Moses to strike out, Johnny Pesky to line out, because there's no outs, and there's guys at first and second base. And Dom DiMaggio comes to the plate. We talked about it in this episode. This is a big spot. This is where you don't have to be the other DiMaggio.
Yes. No, you're right.
And
he rips a double, doesn't he?
Rips an opposite field double drive in both runners with 2 outs in the top of the 8th.
So now it's tied.
But during the time he hit that ball and rounding into second base, he severely injured his hamstring.
Yes.
Where he couldn't go. And this will come back into play in the following frame.
I thought that was very interesting because he's really trying to leg out a triple. And then, like, either coming up to second or rounding it, he takes himself out of the game. He hurts himself so bad that he can't play at all. We get the Cardinals coming up in the bottom of the 8th, and it just changes the whole aspect of the game.
So Bob Klinger is pitching now for Boston. We start off with an Enos Slaughter single. And you're thinking, okay, here we can start a rally. But Karowski doesn't have a good bunt. It's basically a bump pop out. Del Rice flies out, and now it's Harry Walker.
And it's 2 outs.
There's 2 outs, and Slaughter's at first base. And if you're Boston, you're just thinking, no doubles.
Yeah, just a single's not going to kill us.
Like
a pop fly would be our best thing that could happen.
And they're missing their all-star center fielder.
Exactly.
Leon Culberson has replaced Dom DiMaggio in center field. And Walker smacks a double towards him. It ends up being a double because Culberson misplays it. And also what's important is the Cardinals called the hit and run.
So he was going.
Enos Slaughter was already going on the pitch. Culberson eventually gets to the ball and throws it to his cutoff man, Johnny Pesky. And there's back and forth about what happened as far as Pesky, whether he looked at first thinking, okay, I just, want to make sure nothing happened. I just want to get it back to the infield.
Or he bobbled the ball.
Because he saw Enos Slaughter running through the stop sign at third base.
That was the other thing was
from third base coach Mike Gonzalez.
Mike Gonzalez, literally, when Slaughter was coming around, he saw he was going, and Slaughter thinks he's saying, go, go, go. He's saying, no, 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 with his hands up. And Slaughter is just, it's like Jake Taylor going to first.
It's just... I was saying Boo Earns.
I was saying Boo Earns. No, are you here to solve my ketchup problem? But and this is baseball was, you're right, he either checks the first or he bobbles the ball, and that gives Slaughter the time to actually come into home.
And he makes it.
Yes.
Just there's an iconic image of this, like in sports history, of him sliding into home plate just ahead of the throw. The balls on that guy, though.
It's so awesome. I love it. And I mean, to Slaughter's credit, he was just like, I swear I could hear him say, go, go. And he goes, at that point, I'm just trying to run as fast as I can, because in his mind, he's thinking there's an error out in the outfield or something happened to where it's like, oh, I could go. And there was just a series of unfortunate events where the center fielder kind of makes a mistake.
And DiMaggio was trying to wave him where he thought the ball would go before the pitch was even thrown from the dugout.
I saw that. So it's...
But the other thing was, there was an interview with Slaughter later where they had asked him, like, were you going the whole time? And he said... I would not have run if DiMaggio was in center field.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Where he wouldn't have even given it a second thought, where it would have been, that's a ball in the gap. I'm going first to third.
It's a stand-up triple. Or, I mean, but he's standing up at third.
Yeah.
There's no, but having DiMaggio not be in the outfield.
What if he caught it?
Oh, and he probably would have, because he knew where the ball was going to go.
I mean, that...
And that's Boston's fate for 90 years.
There are Red Sox things which happen later where it's just like, oh, that guy was just completely amazing and dominant, or oh, the manager made a very stupid choice and they deserve to lose this game, and there's reasons. This is legit Bambino curse on them right now.
Or it's like a grounder to their all-star first baseman who doesn't make errors like this, makes a schoolyard error. Like that's the thing about this series that I actually really loved, was you're like, how did the Red Sox lose that game? That's just DiMaggio going out. And on top of that, the error, if you want to call it that, is kind of made by his replacement.
Exactly.
And it's such a bad things just happen to the Red Sox for so long that it becomes comical.
It's like you're playing the Benny Hill theme in the background.
Exactly.
But they call it the Mad Dash, though. They call it Enos Slaughter's Mad Dash. They go up 4-3. In the top of the ninth, Brecheen gives up a single to York, and then another single to Dorr.
So
they're not out of it.
There's a light at the end of this tunnel.
Higgins bunts, and then Dorr's thrown out at second, and then he gets Partee to fly out and Tom McBride to ground. Boston almost came back.
I know the ground out is rough with the.
You can't. I mean, I know you moved him to third base, but you have two guys. You have guys to get a sac fly. Like, come on.
Yeah. So Boston ends up losing. We got the Cardinals winning again, and I really like this World Series because baseball's back.
Yes.
All your stars are back, and Boston just has this ridiculous game.
Oh man.
Think about it. They're up 3-2 going back to St. Louis, and they end up losing with this kind of shit.
Well, they get the crap beat out of them in game 6.
Yep.
And then in game 7, they fought so hard to tie the game, and it ends on a play, like, you'll never replicate that again.
Nope.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of equivalency is the junior 95 against the Yankees where he scores from first on a double. But that got like lost down the line and all that other nonsense. Like,
well, there was just so many things happen. Slaughter not getting the right signal. Their DiMaggio going out. Them checking the ball to first or whatever happens. There's just so many things that happened to score that last run that you're like, God, Boston was cursed.
they were cashed.
They were cursed.
But the team's this is kind of the end of the gas. So I brought it up in the last episode with the gas house. This is like the end of that for St. Louis.
Yeah, of that era.
Stan Musial plays for another 15 years and is like Tony Gwynning it essentially on those teams. But they'll meet but Boston, it gets dark because in 47, the National League is integrated with Jackie Robinson and the American League is integrated with Larry Doby.
Yep.
Boston doesn't have a player of color until 1960.
Well, one thing I know about Boston is they hate when it gets dark.
They are very tolerant as a fan base and I mean, Tom Yaki and all the racist people in charge of the team.
Yep.
They could have signed Willie Mays.
Yeah, I know. They had the opportunity to do that.
So we're entering Weekend at Bernie's literally until 1967 when they have the impossible dream season and they play in a World Series against the fucking Cardinals.
I love that. Lose again.
This Bob Gibson guy's just insanely good. God.
Man, is he having a great series.
Oh, the things they probably shouted at poor Bob Gibson and Kurt Flood and Lou Brock at Fenway. Oh, boy.
Thank you guys so much. Please join us back. We got, 3 or 4 more episodes in this block.
Yes, we do.
And thank you.